right, guys, welcome to the Ranger Nation discussion. This week, we're going to be talking more about the 30th anniversary and Austin St. John's claims that Jason David Frank is returning for the 30th anniversary. I am joined this week, as you guys always know, by my co-host, Jezer Zeus Reyes. Liz, topping it off with the news. Heirloom with the Super Sentai, and Este. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing good.
Doing great.
That was like,
Yeah.
all right. First of all, I gotta ask you guys about this 30th anniversary reunion special. Now, it's seemingly confirmed that Austin St. John essentially confirmed that at the very least everybody's been reached out to, which kind of debunks some other people that may have been throwing things around out there. Now that we know that all of the Rangers have been in contact with Hasbro, or at least possibly coming back, does that excite you guys? Or with this whole, Austin St. John legal controversy, does it still have a black cloud hanging over it?
For me, it really does. For the whole thing, like the actors could say like as much as they can, as much as if they were contacted, if they were not contacted. But I feel like this whole situation with ASJ is kind of leaving us in the clouds a little bit in terms of what we can expect.
A little bit, Jezer. What do you have to say about that? What's your hot take on that?
About Yen and the whole casting thing for her?
Now, about Walter Jones reprising his role as that stupid guy that he was in the Forever Red special. No, yes, Yen.
Oh, I don't know. I just really want this whole thing to actually work out. The whole initial story and maybe possibly having everybody in on the thing, like have, even if they reach back out to Amy Jo or ASJ changes his mind. I think it's important. Like, I really think it's important. I think it's as important as like all those HBO freaking reunion things where they had all those people come back. I mean, if Will Smith can get it, because it's for Fresh Prince, yeah. If Will can get freaking Aunt Viv to come back after like blacklisting her in Hollywood, I'm sure they could get these 5 people to come back, at least for like Twee's legacy, right? Like, I mean, it's just to honor her, just like come together even after all these years, and just, they're initially friends, so I mean, let's work it out,
Anniversary, 25th anniversary, and now possibly not even the 30th anniversary. Why haven't we had all of them in the same room together?
I think the biggest thing I can think of right now is I think that they think like Power Rangers is beneath them now, that they've gone higher. I mean, Amy's got her gig, and then you've got like all the others doing their own stuff. Like, as much as I hate to say it, JDF's been carrying it at conventions, but I think the rest of them are just like, well, it's a show that, it's beneath us now. That's what I kind of think of.
I definitely remember a time in like the mid 2000s, like when I was just getting like internet access, and I was very curious about the whereabouts of a lot of these original MMPR actors, to find out that there wasn't really much mention of them as to like what they were doing. Like, they weren't doing at least that many cons as they do now, and there wasn't like that much social media back then. So I think maybe that may be a reason why they haven't really thought of an MMPR reunion. I honestly don't think that could have been in the works, mostly because it would have to be something original, not derivative of a Sentai series or movie, and it could have provided a lot of issues. I think now, with Hasbro in possession of the brand, I think now that idea could have actually have happened, but I'm not so sure.
But with the reunions and stuff, I mean, it's not like an episode though, right? Like, is it just they come back and they talk? But I mean, I love Power Rangers, but when you're trying to put like Power Rangers versus like Harry Potter or Friends, I mean, we're
yeah.
just like, why haven't we gotten one? I'm like, well, y'all, I have some bad news for you if you haven't realized it yet, but the Power Ranger fandom is significantly smaller.
Well, that's
I would
you know
love
what,
if
Liz?
we could just do it in a convention, though. Even it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a huge special. If they could, but the two reasons why: egos and money. That's probably why we haven't ever gotten them all together.
You brought up a really good point, Liz, about the size of the Power Ranger audience, which I think sometimes is overlooked inside of its own fan base. Do you think that this 30th anniversary if it does exist and if it actually does happen, do you think that this will actually bring older fans back to the franchise? And if it does bring them back to the franchise, do you think they will stick with the franchise?
As long as there's still stuff coming out, the new show, the new movie, whatever. If we can get a few eyeballs back because of the 30th anniversary, maybe they'll stick around if there's something worth sticking around for. But if they get interested in it and then they go to Netflix and they're like, oh, there's like 2 random seasons, or you got to watch it on like Netflix or YouTube Kids, there's gonna need to be something to hold people's attention. Because yeah, people would pop in and they watched Dimensions in Danger, but never watched any of the rest of Ninja Steel. So if we're gonna have something that holds their attention, we need to have a solid base around it. And I'm just hoping this Entwistle universe comes. At least, give us previews, give us something during the 30th anniversary, a teaser trailer for the movie or whatever, to make people want to stick with the Ranger fandom. Because if not, it's just going to be a huge blip like it was in 2016 with the movie, or 2017 the movie, or whatever it was, and just kind of like.
Well, Liz,
Uh,
you have kids, right? Like, or you have a daughter. Like, what does she think about the Power Ranger show? Like, if you show her the old stuff and the new stuff, which one does she like gravitate to more?
She likes the newer stuff better for the most part. Like her favorite characters were Ravi and Devin and Amelia now and Izzy. But she like the older stuff. I think she likes, maybe I don't say the cheesy stuff of it, but she likes like Alpha 5. She really likes Pudgy Pig. I think she just kind of likes some of the characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she steals all my Dino Fury toys.
Dino Fury's popular with kiddos, man. I have one right here that her and I binged it together, so it worked. I do have a question though about said 30th anniversary pseudo reunion. We talked earlier about why can't something like this happen at a convention. Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con's right around the corner, and Liz, you talked about getting a glimpse of Jonathan Entwistle's Power Ranger world. What are the chances? What are the chances that we get some type of glimpse for something in the future of Power Rangers that is outside of the show that we currently know? You don't think we'll get anything, Chester? No reveals.
I don't think
nothing.
Not right now. I don't think.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. Hall H is obviously dominated by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We know that's going to be happening on Saturday. That's the primetime stuff. Matter of fact, we can mostly expect major studios are going to have their announcements on Saturday. Hasbro usually does have a major presence at San Diego Comic-Con, whether it be through their toy exclusives. Matter of fact, just the other day, they dropped a ton of news about the G.I. Joe anniversary toys, more stuff that's coming out about that. You don't think at all, in the course of all of this, their Fan First Fridays, their G.I. Joe, whatever they do, their Star Wars drops, you don't think there's any reveal that Hasbro's going to be doing about either Dungeons and Dragons, Power Rangers, any of their properties?
They're going to come out with Beast Wars. I think that's the one that they're going to show at San Diego Comic-Con. Or what is it, Beast Alliance? No, it's not Beast Alliance. Rise of the Beast or something, the new Transformers franchise. I think that's what they're going to show. What they're going to show is like a 10-second clip of like Optimus Primal as like the gorilla just show up, and Anthony Ramos is just there, like that's it. It's only be a quick clip, but it's going to just blow up on the internet. But I don't think they're going to have anything with Jonathan Entwistle.
Not even in one of the smaller halls, not in one of the smaller rooms.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
there's a title. Like anything.
You don't think it's Cosmic Fury? Like, you think that's like totally out the window? That's not what they're gonna call it.
Oh no, I just mean like for the movie or
the
show or like the other show.
Just a confirmation.
You guys do pose a nice little discussion here, mainly because do you think even for the show that we'll get anything at San Diego Comic-Con? I will say this: I can promise you one thing. I'm pretty sure there's going to be one announcement coming from the Power Ranger franchise of San Diego. I know that for a fact.
TV franchise or TV?
I'm not going to say which part of it, but it's something a part of the franchise. But I mean, it's something a part of the franchise that I think people might be excited about. But I know that one announcement's coming. I'm curious to see if others are also going to come during San Diego, because maybe they think, San Diego's where everything gets announced. Maybe we try something announcing Power Rangers in San Diego,
Well, there is a lot of like vacant spots in like the panel rooms and stuff since freaking CW just like exploded and just like demolished their whole like TV lineup, right? So like there is some space for something to come out, but I don't know. I don't know what they do.
I think that if we're gonna get something, and if it's gonna be the movie, if it's the name, it's just gonna be coming soon, The Power Rangers, and that will
The
be
Power
all.
Rangers.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Just
Yeah.
a
Coming
logo and a
soon.
date.
But
Yeah.
Mark, you
Coming
don't
soon.
think any news about Cosmic Fury comes out of San Diego?
No, because I think if we've looked at all the stuff with the Fan First Fridays, everything that Hasbro has done quite recently, it's not been anything to write home about. So I feel like if they do show something, it will either be something very brief, or they'll just go, "We're splitting," and they'll just walk off, or they'll say something so minute that no one will pick up on it, and then it'll just be Jonathan Entwistle, the Power Rangers, and it'll just be a logo. If they
Yeah.
did Cosmic Fury, I would be. Do you know what? I'd be very impressed. But until Hasbro, I think, decided to take the reins and actually decide, okay, we want to take this brand a bit more seriously, I think we're just going to get there we go. It's on a piece of paper.
I have a feeling, and it's just a feeling, but I know this from what's the
It's a
last
Joe
Comic Con we
feeling,
went
so
to,
it might be
Jezzer?
something.
What time? What was the last Comic Con? Was it 2019?
2019. That was the ASJ thing. That was crazy.
Okay, so that's the exact one I wanted to talk about. So that 2019, I know that there's that Hasbro breakfast that we get invited to in terms of like it's the product display and all that stuff. But that was also 2019 was also the first year. I don't remember. I know if you remember this, is where they tried to make their announcement of Austin St. John returning to the franchise. That was their big kickoff thing. So you don't think at this point now, Jezzer, that they would just announce the new Rangers at San Diego Comic Con trying to make an impact in San Diego and announce them right then and there as they would at Morphicon?
So you're talking about the New Zealand show? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Cosmic
So
Fury, whatever it's gonna be.
you're telling me like that there's not
I'm not
set
telling you
pitch-
anything. I'm telling
there's
you
not
that there's going to be one thing that I know for sure is going to be dropped in San Diego. I didn't say that's going to be it, but I'm saying you don't think that could be a possibility?
You remember when they shoot in New Zealand for like Beast Morphers or even for Dino Fury? There's always set photos. You'd think there'd be set photos of something going on over there, right?
Negative. Because what are the chances that they haven't even flown out yet? From everything that all indications say is that they were leaving in August. That would have been right around the time of Power Morphicon, not San Diego Comic Con.
So what would
Sure,
they
if
have to
can't
announce?
make Power Morphicon.
Yeah,
Well,
there
cast.
could be a.
I mean, if usually
They
they
would
announce
announce the
Power
cast, yeah.
Morphicon if they can because they're already in New Zealand. I mean, it would give people a chance to get press like, in-person shots.
Yeah.
I would love it. I would be so happily surprised if we actually got like an announcement at San Diego Comic Con. I'm not
I feel
holding
like
my breath up.
I feel like what's
Is
most
that bad?
probable is we'd have like a part 2, season 2 Dino Fury trailer, and maybe at the end they'll be like, next season, here's our new cast. But I think
Well, I mean that's great. That'd be cool.
I mean, that makes the most
simple.
sense right there. I mean, that makes most. I will say. I mean, well, never mind. I know that there's a lot of pressure for them to put out their content right now for past things. So I know that they're at least gearing up for the second part of their Dino Fury season, at least to go public. But the real question is, will they announce that cast in San Diego? Because their last big impactful thing that they did announce was Austin St. John returning to the franchise in San Diego. So just saying that maybe they're shifting gears. Now, here's the downside about that. I don't know if it's necessarily a downside, but it will, depending on what day it is, which I'm assuming would be the Friday there in San Diego.
Yeah.
It could get swallowed up by other news coming out of it. What I kind of doubt it, because I think they're looking at Power Rangers to maybe, hit it hard for this last hurrah. Now, the Jonathan Entwistle stuff, I will say, I doubt we'll hear anything about that in San Diego.
No.
If anything,
No.
I definitely think we'll hear about whatever Cosmic Fury, whatever that looks like. We may hear something about that, but I kind of doubt we'll hear anything about Entwistle stuff. At least that's my own thought. Let's switch gears for a second, because another part of this Austin St. John comment was that he speculated, I want to say very strongly here, he speculated that Jason David Frank is returning for this 30th anniversary. What do you guys think about the return of Jason David Frank if that were to happen on this 30th anniversary of the Power Rangers special?
Man, that was a really early retirement.
Oh man,
I know that was like the Tom Brady, right?
He
Like
pulled a
just
Tom
came right
Brady.
back.
Oh my god.
I-
Tom Brady.
I think that if he does come back, I think that everyone will be really happy because it's JDF and it's the 30th year and it's it's so hyped up. I think people will just go, all right, cool, and I'd be like, all right, just make it decent, because obviously
Yeah.
Dino Fury is doing a lot better than like previous seasons, like Ninja Steel and stuff like that. So I think I'd be like, do you know what? Show me what you got. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't turn in and say, I'm going in retirement after this, because you've already retired. What the hell?
He's retired, but he just keeps posting about Power Rangers right now.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. I mean, you do you, bro.
He also said he was gonna go into like fighting and fight someone back in like 2019 or whatever, wrestling. Don't remember that?
yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. So
Whatever happened to that?
You got scared.
That's up.
It happened in our imagination.
I don't know. Maybe COVID could have happened and killed that one. Who knows? That's a good question. I do vaguely remember that. I remember him posting pictures backstage at WWE and stuff like that. Because here's the thing: if Jason David Frank did make his return, I guess again, I think I don't know. I feel like it's expected, but also if you don't have him come back for the 30th anniversary. Look, he's a piece of the puzzle that I think you do need for the 30th anniversary. If you don't bring him back, then I think the only way fans are going to be satisfied, I personally think, and people in chat can let us know, but bringing back people that were fan favorites that like a Johnny Young Bosch, you know what I mean? Somebody that the fans love and would love to see return for like an anniversary special. I feel like that could be as impactful too, but you'd have to assemble essentially like an all-star group of Rangers to do that.
Who would you guys want? Like, if it wasn't them, like, who's your fan favorite that hasn't been seen much in the franchise since their season, but you want them to come back and it just blow your mind?
I want to see Ziggy.
Oh, okay.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
RJ.
RJ?
I'd love RJ to come back, and his chair just comes in like wheeling it, and it's just like, all right, boys, how you doing? And it just turns into the transforms it.
Bring that type of contrast with Tommy's character. I feel like it would make for some perfect scenes.
That would be cool.
Be awesome. So I guess maybe can I pose another question? If there's an anniversary and they say, okay, we do it, is it gonna have to other people and to you personally, if they're like, hey, we got a 30th anniversary, awesome. Oh yeah, like Jason and Tommy, yeah, they ain't gonna be there. And Kimberly ain't gonna be there. So we got Billy and Zach. Okay. So would it be, even if, and this is against the characters of Billy and Zach, but if they're gonna bill it as a big 30th anniversary and they only have 2 of the 5 living ones there, is it that big of an anniversary? Or
You know, it's like when they did like Saved by the Bell in New Class, and it's like, oh, we're gonna get Zach and AC Slater back. No, we got Screech and Mr. Belding.
right.
It's like that. It's like, oh, well, we got somebody. I mean, it's someone connected.
That is a good question, because I think that depending on what type of fan you are, what are you celebrating? Are you celebrating the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin, or are you celebrating the 30th anniversary of the franchise as a whole? And I think those are two kind of different things, right? Because there's a lot clamoring for a Mighty Morphin reunion, but at the same time, I think I'd be just as satisfied, at least as a Power Ranger fan, with some of my fan favorites coming in and out of the season. Though, to credit Liz, I will say though, I don't know if that draws in like the mainstream back to Power Rangers with random Rangers that they would have never known to begin with. No offense to any of them, though.
Yeah, BuzzFeed knows 7 Rangers, like that's just what it is. And
and if they were,
go ahead.
If they were doing this, like, and they're trying to fast track this, August, are we assuming that a lot of them would be the New Zealand based Rangers?
Good question.
I think that with the New Zealand Rangers, it's a lot easier than getting someone else to come over, because again, I don't know if the COVID restrictions over in New Zealand have lifted. So I feel like if you've got, say, 5 New Zealand actors there right then, it'd be a lot easier to be like, all right, guys, we know you're not the A team, but we'll bring in the B team. Just put in a C team's type of acting and you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that's going to draw anybody, though.
Yeah.
It's not going to draw a single person in.
But I think
like Ranger fans, I mean, like if you're a really big fan of it, like you'd love it, but yeah, it wouldn't get the...
But who would we have to choose?
Well, let me ask you guys another question, because for the 20th anniversary, which was, at least on paper and through a trailer, looked grand. It looked huge. That legendary battle looked
All
gigantic.
3
Now,
minutes of it.
all 3 minutes of it looked
Extended
7
I
if
mean,
you watch the extended one.
if you imagine though the stories we created in our heads after seeing that trailer though, and who we thought was coming back, right, for that 20th anniversary, and then imagine the expectation we actually got when we got there. If something like that were to happen for the 30th anniversary, I felt like that might be the most disastrous thing and disastrous way you can kind of handle this, right? Is by promoting something and not delivering on it, right?
Yeah.
I think
We had TJ at least in that one, but he didn't really talk much, and Cassie didn't talk much. They had so many people, but they just underutilized
They
all of
bought
them.
too many back. Like we just need a team of 5 people. I say 5
Yeah.
is the perfect number.
Yeah.
And it needs to be longer than the 22-minute average.
Yeah,
Like I
2
mean, I know
parts
that
at
we're
least.
estimating this 44-minute long, reunion special. At least that's inside stuff that we were told is going to be a 44-minute long thing for this 30th anniversary reunion special. All original story, all original footage.
So
but
are
I
you
feel that,
saying at Comic-Con it'll be the reunion special, or will be the 30th season TV series?
Personally, I think it's going to be whatever Cosmic Fury is supposed to be. That's what I'm not saying that's official. I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen. That's my opinion of what I think is going to get announced there. If Power Rangers, I know that they're going to have one announcement there, but if I was a betting man, I would say that if we were to get a cast reveal, this would be the way to do it. I can't see them doing it on a Fan First Friday, even though we've gotten that in COVID times. The only reason I don't think it would happen again is mainly the Fan First Fridays haven't had the greatest reception from the Power Ranger fan base as a whole. Now, there could be a whole point of this where Hasbro's like, well, we don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. We're still going to put it on Fan First Friday. But I feel like if they're actually listening to fans and wanting to grow this, their maximum impact would be to do this announcement in front of an international audience at San Diego Comic-Con.
At least when people are ready for news too. It's not like a random Friday where they're like, "What? Hold on." Like,
Exactly.
do we even want to cover it? We already had a bunch of other stuff going on. If you're already sitting there and waiting for any sort of news, I mean, we could potentially get even more eyeballs on it.
That's true.
I'm looking this up. San Diego Comic-Con.
So I think that if, like, from a media point of view, like if you're not bothered about the brand doing something big, just give it to the people that are talking about it a lot. There's a lot of us that are covering all of this like on a day-to-day basis or wanting to talk about it. So if Hasbro utilized it and went, all right, guys, like, we can't be bothered with this anymore. How about we give you the information, release it on this date, sign NDAs because you can't talk about it, but it has to go on this time. And then give each, like all of us, like different versions of something different. It would bring a lot more people together. And then just Hasbro just go, we're on Twitter, share a link, there you go, and then people will be like, oh, all right. So that's
and if everybody does it at the same time, like if you give it to multiple people and they're all doing it at the same time, who knows? Maybe it'll trend, and then maybe like the bigger audience would look into what's actually going on. But
well,
I mean,
the question here is, do you think that the brand would do that with specifically a Power Ranger focused Power Ranger focused outlets, or do you think they're trying to do that with like the Entertainment Weeklies, you know what I mean, these big publications that they're going to just get lost in the shuffle, right? You know what I mean? So I feel like, I don't know, it's such a hard balance the way that they're marketing Power Rangers, because right now, currently, there's not a ton out there for us to be wowed by. There hasn't been a ton of Lightning Collection news. The thing that probably excites me the most in the franchise that we know is coming is the second half of Part 2, Season 2 of Dino Fury. But other than that, we don't really know much else. I mean, at this point now, Austin St. John did confirm that they've all been reached out to for this 30th anniversary. We know that there is an attempt to make that. Whether or not that comes to fruition, there's not a lot of time to get that done in, because essentially from next month, they have, I mean, a year for that to fully be a 30th anniversary. I mean, it could release anytime next year, but I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of time to get all of these deals done, unless everybody's lying to us and they're all coming back. That's definitely a possibility too. But I would
maybe they're all trolling us and they've just made all of it up.
Maybe ASJ didn't get arrested.
Yeah,
it's all fake.
It was all part of it. It was all part of it.
Yeah. It's like, they're catching on to us. We need a ASJ. We need you to pretend like you're getting arrested for some weird fraud thing.
All right, guys, I'll take that hit.
That couldn't have come at a worse time for that franchise, though, right? It felt like people were getting really excited, and that just dominated. That dominated not just Power Ranger news, but like national news. You know what I mean? That was crazy.
Yeah. At least it's not like Warner Brothers situation that they got going, but it's still something.
Hey, wait, let me ask you guys this. Do you, if the 30th anniversary with the original cast does not happen, do you still want a 30th anniversary special?
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
I
still
still
want one.
do. Yeah.
I still think this Yen storyline it's so interesting that I wouldn't care if none of them came back and it just focused on her, because I feel like out of every single ranger, Trini's never had anything, and I feel like it's more exciting than having like, oh, here comes Austin, or here comes JDF, but it's something that's gone, oh, this could be about Trini. It's like, what? Please give me more. I don't care if it's a small tidbit. I need more information.
Mm-hmm. Should work.
It's gonna be really sad if just like this eventually ends up happening and people are just gonna continuously compare this to the original concept of this episode.
Oh,
That's the worst possible scenario.
dang, that's crazy. It's
Well, the other thing too was how impactful was this 30th anniversary on the future of what they were going to do. My guess is not very, simply because it didn't seem like it tied into anything with Entwistle was doing, and more so than anything else, it kind of felt like a swan song, or you know what I mean, like a let's wrap this up. At least that's the way it kind of came off. Not saying that's the way it is, because we do know that there's a Cosmic Fury or whatever that may be coming out.
I
And
feel like
could
as
that
much,
tie into this?
bro,
what I
I just
say.
feel like as much as they are planning what they're gonna do with this 30th reunion, as well as Cosmic Fury, I think they really need to know what they're gonna do next, because this reunion, if anything, is gonna bring back eyes to the show, and you need to use that attention while you can to literally be like, this is what we have next. You should stay to see what we got next, because this whole new universe and everything, like this reunion should lead on to this in a way.
That'd be true.
Interesting.
But what if after they do that, so like they do the 30th anniversary, they do the 30th, they do the anniversary thing, and then they do the season, and then they just stop until Jonathan Entwistle's like project is off the ground. Then people are just like, there's like a gap, and people are like, what happened? And you kind of lose a bunch of like potential viewers or motivation to watch the next thing. Like, I don't know.
Do you
It's
think though that they won't have Jonathan Entwistle's universe ready to go right after they air whatever season would be next?
no.
No,
Because
We've
my
had
guess
like
is that
3 years to work on it so far, and we don't even have a title. So
Yeah,
it's a very good point. It's a
Not
we're in
even
the
a
dark,
plan.
really. Yeah.
Like, remember the original writer? What's his name? Like Edward something, like Brian Edward Hill or something. And I don't even know if he's involved in it anymore. So like,
from Titans.
yeah, from Titans.
Yeah.
So like, there's so many changes that had happened that I don't. Maybe they still, at this point, which is fine, they still don't really have a plan for that. So they're just kind of like hoping, oh, hopefully this 30th season catches fire, or hopefully the reunion catches fire, and then maybe we'll get some extra money to help, build this new thing. I don't know.
I think
Maybe we'll get some extra money to help build this new thing. That would
Yeah.
be, I
It's like,
think that
oh,
would solve some of
here's
Power Rangers problems.
yeah. He's like, oh, here, there's a little bit of buzz. Let's
Wait, let me ask you guys a question. So let's just going on a tangent here. Let's say the Jonathan Entwistle thing is a brand new universe. Do you think though that also means brand new characters completely? No Rita Repulsive, no Lord Zed, no
Ooh.
whatever else. Do you think it's completely new characters?
I think so, because you wouldn't want to make Power Rangers the same on Netflix. So if you want to pull in all these new people, you'd be like, oh, I really want to see this. Then something completely different, something that isn't like, oh, that guy in the rubber suit, or that woman that was screaming about headaches and stuff like that. You'd want to make it more, not more mature, but at least for the right audience. And I feel like if you, because Jenny's got like all the stuff with Jessica Jones, Cloak and Dagger, etc., etc. I feel like they'd build something brand new for us and say, this is what you've always wanted, and then see how it is. At the end of the day, I think their main goal is to bring in more new people than it is to please the fandom, but then also give what the fandom's been wanting for ages, since they've gone like, oh, I really like Super Sentai. I want something a bit darker and I want something a bit more mature. And I feel like that will go hand in hand. If they don't hit it right, I think it'll be gone by end of season 1, season 2.
Do you guys think? Go ahead, Liz.
Oh, just real quick, I did double check. Brian Edward Hill does still have Power Rangers in his Twitter description, and like he is active on Twitter. So still there.
Do you think, though, that if they went more towards this, I don't know, adult-themed, an aged-up version of Power Rangers with no rubber-suited monsters and completely different-looking suits, do you think that there's any brand confusion there, or do you think it doesn't matter whatsoever because they want to reinvent Power Rangers anyway? Do you think that there's a... Go ahead, SK.
I just feel like a reinvention is just most probable. As much as they're hyping up this new universe, how it's going to be literally disconnected from everything we know, the least I would expect is for this new universe to not really have much connection at all as to what we know before. Like, forget the naming of the original 5 and Zora and Alpha. They would kind of create a new story, and like that goes hand in hand with trying to escape the hands of the Super Sentai footage and whatnot too. So I think what makes the most sense is just create something new, not really go into what the fandom wants, like reinvent Power Rangers from zero, like jumpstart it up.
I think adding on to that, I think that if you put something at the very beginning of the series, like when the Flash started, where it's like, oh, to see what you're going to watch, you've got to believe in the unbelievable. My name's Barry Allen. I'm the fastest man alive. And I feel like if you opened up with something like the whole thing in like the Power Rangers, the movie in 95, where it's just like, in another world, there was a set of heroes that have done this, but now we're into a new story. We're into a new thing. This is the other story of the other Power Rangers. And if you have that at the very beginning, you don't have to go through the... So basically, we start with Mighty Morphing, then we start with Mighty Morphing, and then we move on to Mighty Morphing, Alien Rangers, and Zeo and Turbo. It just makes it so much easier to go, oh, okay, there were others.
That's a good framing device.
Now, what are the chances they kind of amalgamate all of the Power Ranger continuity and teams into like one thing? Where I know Toku Chris had mentioned in one of our past episodes, what if it is like, Jason and all his buddies go to Angel Grove, but there's this new young freshman that wants to be like a firefighter, and that's Carter Grayson, and they kind of merge them within the world. Do you think that that's a possibility too, where we can have these concurrent Power Ranger teams live within the same universe at the same time?
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it seems like they're putting in a lot of work. At least it seems like they're taking their time and figuring out what they're doing with their universe. I mean, I'm not saying that they're literally going in there and being like, well, maybe we can put all these things together. At the end of the day, they need to be based in something. But like, where's that lore coming from? And what makes it definitively Power Rangers than starting up something completely new and calling it something else differently? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like like Liz was saying, I kind of want to see what the direction is that Entwistle is going in, because that's the one big question mark, is what is going to carry over, what aesthetics are going to carry over, what kind of plot lines or characters are going to carry over, even if they are reinvented. Because if it's something completely new, is it still Power Rangers?
Is it going to be spandex still?
I don't think so. I mean, I would kind of doubt that, mainly because, I mean, who knows though, man? If they can get spandex looking really good, I guess.
I was watching some behind the scenes stuff for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and they're like showing how Black Bolt's costume was all CG, but his costume looked like freaking great in that. If we could get something that looks like that, like, and you don't have to go through too much trouble of like doing fittings and stuff, and it could all be done on the post side, I think that'd be super cool.
I kind of want to see something like Grant Gustin's Flash costume.
Okay.
I think that would be quite cool. Bit loose fitting, but I just want to say it. I think it would be pretty cool.
Well, here's
like
another
question
suit too. Yeah. With Jonathan Entwistle's Power Rangers, because I feel like Power Rangers, especially the way that most people know Power Rangers, it's so synonymous with dinosaurs. Is that like a motif that Jonathan Entwistle kind of sticks with? Because even in 2017, when we got a rebooted universe, like that was still like their base core was like, we got to use these dinosaur powers. Do you think that's still the same case?
There'll be alien dinosaurs this time.
Yeah.
Alien dinosaurs.
It's like
From
when Michael Bay
space.
did Ninja Turtles, like, oh, they're aliens actually. And then there's a huge uproar.
Dinosaurs are always cool. Like, there's still Jurassic Park. Like, people love dinosaurs. It's just a thing. If they're gonna, I mean, I could see them if they're doing at least more like animal based. I don't know. Maybe it'll be all tech. It'll be like beast morphers, leather and governments.
Leather and governments. That's gonna be the name of the season, actually. Power Rangers.
That's gonna name
Leather
of the
and Government.
Leather and Government.
I think if they do dinosaurs, I feel like that's what they're trying to cash in with toys. But again, the toys from the mainline haven't been selling. So dinosaurs and money is a really nice thing. They just come with massive like cash bags. But if they don't, maybe something different rather than, oh, it's dinosaur, because the fandom's just gonna go dinosaurs, and then the non-fandom are gonna go dinosaurs, and that's it.
Yeah, you can't really lose either way, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Maybe
think
they
so.
do something. If they do something else, I think it all mainly comes down to like just brand recognition, right? So if you're trying to get back the old fans that didn't keep up with Power Rangers like we did, you're gonna need something that kind of like they can find something nostalgic that they can link to.
Okay,
Um,
give me
but-
two things, each person. Give me two things that the 30th anniversary special must do in order to be, get over with the fans. Name two things that it has to do. Because one of them for me is it has to include Simon Bennett as like the showrunner for it. Because I feel like he's really understands the universe and he's been learning the lore of Power Rangers, and I think he can handle it with care. So that's one thing that I automatically would like for me personally. Well, what about you guys? Wait, I did say Simon Bennett, right? Not Jonathan.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did
I meant-
Simon.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I feel like the first thing for me would have to be bring people back that would make a good episode. Like make sure that whoever you're bringing back, you can connect them with the rest of the team, and then you can tie up loose ends there in a way, and just give honor and respect to any Power Rangers season that has aired in the last 30 years. And the second thing for me would probably also be Simon Bennett, because I feel like he's done an amazing job connecting all these seasons. And if he's bought back here, I feel like he would also make the special as well.
that would be cool. I think the theme song. I think we need the original theme song, like
Oh, that's a great call.
with the actual build up. Like if Yen like finally like uses all the powers or whatever, you just get the actual build up to the original theme song
Yeah.
with the actual like the few verses that it does, just to just hype it up, just
Yeah,
something crazy.
incorporate it in the final battle, I feel like would be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That would be actually pretty cool. That's a good call, Jester. How about you guys?
Hmm.
I want them to make a reference about the peace
The
conference.
peace conference. Yes.
It's just one of those like they left for the peace conference. And Jace came
Yeah.
back. I mean, if you follow the comics, and the lore between lore of comics, lore of whatever. But I just think it'd be really funny. There needs to be at least one small mention about a peace conference, just to make me laugh.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Okay, I've got three.
Okay.
So first one is I want really decent writing. We've got decent writing right now, but I would really love it if they just turn around and actually put a lot of like effort into it. Two, I want them to bring back Azim.
Yeah.
So finally someone can go like, oh, there's a why am I the Green Ranger? There's a simple explanation, and someone actually goes, do you know what? It's because of this, and he goes, thank you. I've been waiting years for that. And then the last one is at the very end when it's like, oh my God, we've had a good party, guys. I want them to walk into a big room and Robo Knight rapping and actually on the decks and just producing music. And it's just like, oh my God, Robo Knight, you've done it. He's like, yeah, my career's gone like sky high. And Simon Bennett.
I like all of your stuff is really taking part in the Neo Saban era. Like that's a really big tribute to the Neo Saban era. Like
That'd be great. And I think Azim would be totally down to come back. Like, yeah, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
I'll come back.
That'd be cool.
Well, let me ask you: Are you guys itching more for just an overall Power Ranger 30th anniversary reunion, or more of a Mighty Morphin 30th anniversary reunion? Which one do you feel has? Which one do you want to see more? Not which one has the most impact. I think we know that.
If they could do the first one, like, and have like where it's like a whole encompassing type thing, that'd be really cool. But I really don't think that they're gonna focus on it. But that'd be really cool, and just have like so many people, just it show like where they're at in their life, and like, oh, there's this big monster that the current team has to defeat. Let's lend our like residual powers that we have left over and just help them. Like you not have to do anything, but just help them in some way. That'd be pretty cool.
So you just want to see essentially the legendary battle. It felt like seems like Jezer. So what you
I
kind of
guess.
explained, right?
Well, I just
But
want to see.
better.
I just want to see. Yeah, just where they're at. Like a longer
He wants a
version of that.
behind the music of like each season, like
Well,
running
what's wrong
down.
with
Like,
that? What's wrong with that?
you know, that's not a bad idea. In universe, there's like this tabloid reporter that exposes the Power Rangers' identities, and he does
Yeah.
like a series like behind the helmet. Where are these Power Rangers now? It's like a
Yeah.
dude like doing gardening work. He lost his powers. That'd be great.
We also need
Fantastic.
Bulk and Skull. I think they
Mm.
have to have Bulk and Skull in it. Like,
You know
all
what?
that-
I will say
Yeah,
that's
that would
something that is
be-
super underrated. Bulk and Skull should be a part of 30th anniversary.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
even better. Bolt and Skull meets Victor and Monty, meet the two from
oh,
Dino
here we
Thunder.
go.
I actually
then-
really want that.
Yeah. And then bring in Jane and Jayborg, and then for just one episode that they all have crazy adventures, and it cuts from it. It's just like in Angel Grove, there's Bulk and Skull, and they get like 15 minutes, and then Victor and Monty get like 15, and it just all works together. And then they meet up, and they're just like, "We think we know who the Power Rangers are. It's you!" And that's it. Banger of an episode.
I mean, I feel like the
I
only
would
other
watch
way,
that all day.
I know, I would watch that too.
I will watch
I
it
feel
too.
like the only other way they can do a 30th anniversary season without using the original Mighty Morphin Rangers is kind of the same way, and I think would be a fun callback. 'Cause they did it 15 years ago, but they did the Once a Ranger thing, except a new generation of Once a Ranger with new Rangers.
Once
I
a
think
Ranger
that would be
too.
like a Once a Ranger, yeah, once Ranger 2, except with a new team. Would be a lot of fun.
So this one would just be called Always a Ranger.
Always.
Yeah.
Always a Ranger.
Oh, there you go.
They can't take that idea anymore.
Yeah, we've
Well, for you guys, for anything that you watch,
Okay.
like growing up, or something that you finished like to completion, like the series finale, what was like your favorite series finale? And you felt like, oh, that went on a very high note, and I want that for Power Rangers. Like, what's that show for you guys?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
It's a hard
I
question.
can't.
You know what? I feel like that's such a divisive one. I'm gonna say, and I know some people are like, "Oh, I wanted to see him in the suit." Smallville for me, I think ended like I like the way Smallville ended. They brought Lex back, and that was a big question.
That last
But I know-
season was tough, bro. Are you
The
serious?
last season was tough, but I like the way the show ended because
Okay,
I wanted more of Clark in his suit, but I mean it wasn't terrible. I
okay.
mean I'm sure people wanted more though at the time. Lost. I know that's a divisive one. Tons of people hated Lost ending. I liked it.
Trying to think of one that I just like
Mm.
such a high note that you just leave you end the show and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. I'm good. I'm happy.
Sopranos, the ending. That's what I want. The end. That's it.
I don't think I've seen the ending of that one.
All it does is they start talking, and it cuts mid sentence and just goes to a black screen, and that's it. So I want them to go like, guys, do you remember? And it's just like the end.
I feel like maybe The Office.
I was about to
it
say that. Like that's the
tied
only
up
one I
kind
can
of
think of
everything.
right now.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm guessing you don't mean the UK office. I'm guessing you mean the American one.
Yeah, the American Office kind of tied up everybody's storyline. It brought Steve Carell back, even though that was a big like, oh, we don't know if he's coming back type of thing.
Yeah.
That was a decent one. Brought it had conclusions to everybody's storyline.
Avengers Endgame, maybe? No. Oh. I
Tommy
can't-
dies.
But that's
he just
not. I
goes,
wouldn't say that's like a finale of something because then we're
No.
still in phase 4 and carrying it on.
Yeah. Oh, like before they did the reboot, like series, Boy Meets World, where like they're just all in the classroom
Oh yeah.
talking to Mr. Feeney. But before they like decided to do like a reboot or like a continuation, I thought that was a good ending for that. I thought that was cool. I'm
You
trying
watch
to think of-
Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls wrapped everything up,
It was
and there's
perfect.
still a lot more. And I mean, you still kind of want to go. Like, you wish it kept going,
Yeah, yeah.
but the way it wrapped up, you're just like, that was amazing. Highly recommend Gravity Falls.
Okay. Maybe like Toy Story 3 kind of ended. Oh, it
Well,
kind of
it didn't
ended
end because there was a
sad.
Toy Story 4, buddy.
I know. I'm thinking about that. Dang.
I like the ending of Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
And they're all grown
What?
up.
Oh, they all grew up.
Phineas ended up with Isabel at the end. It was cute.
Maybe they do the end of like Big Bang Theory, where it's a sad version of the Mighty Morphin theme tune, and they're all just sat in the juice bar talking, going like, "Oh, do you remember this time?" Camera slowly pulls out, and it just says, "Thank you for watching Ranger Nation, 30 years."
See, honestly, so if they were going to do like what Jezer wanted and have like that sit down reunion special, it should be at Ernie's Juice Bar. Like they should rebuild the Ernie's Juice Bar set, and it should have been like the cast talking at the juice bar.
Can they
Yeah.
have
Well, with a picture of what was his name? The guy who played Ernie.
Oh,
He
Richard.
passed away.
It's Richard Janelle or something. Janelle or something.
Maybe that's where the G was coming. I was thinking of, but yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be cool. They need to have Rocky's pachinko machine as well.
Yes, yes,
Central.
yes.
And then it breaks out into a food fight at some point.
Yeah,
I mean,
pies thrown everywhere.
And then when Tommy walks into the juice bar and like all after like all the parents disappear, and he's like, "Where's everybody at?" Just if that's the way they want to do it, so they don't have to interact with each other. Just like,
That
oh,
would be
that
amazing.
I mean, look, I feel like whatever that Yin storyline is and the way that kind of works out, I would say for the most part. And who knows? Maybe that's something that we saw a character breakdown and we kind of put the puzzle pieces together, so we have an idea of what we want from that. But I feel like if they move in that direction, it not only does a great way of kind of like extending Mighty Morphin's legacy, but also kind of wrapping up Mighty Morphin legacy if they wanted to do it that way too. And I was also thinking that if they did move in that direction with Yin, because at this point now, like JJ, Tommy's son, would be like in his teens too. It'd be kind of cool that if we start seeing the legacy Mighty Morphin characters, and maybe those two and 4 new people taking over those powers.
that'd be pretty cool. But
like
Joe, in your
6 or
opinion,
whatever.
you like what's the percentage that you think this reunion side is gonna happen?
And now, honestly, I would say that you mean percentage that it's going to happen.
Yeah, like they're gonna
40%.
fall
Say it's
40%. 40%.
The
And
only
we
reason
probably
I
figure
don't
it out
feel
this year.
yeah, the only reason I feel less confident about it is obviously the Austin St. John thing, I think, is a hinder to all of it. But who knows, man? One thing I've learned about Power Rangers, especially the way that Hasbro's doing this, is that stuff like that concerns them less. And at that point, I feel like they would just be like, well, we could just get Steve Cardenas to do it. But I don't think they would realize the impact fans, the fans would think about that. But all of indications would tell me that with people saying, "Oh, I'm not going to be a part of it," like Amy Jo Johnson publicly said that this thing was a rumor. Now we know that it's completely true. That all that they were all asked back. It doesn't seem like she's coming back.
No.
David Yost hasn't commented at all really about this. Austin St. John publicly said he's not going to do this, and so did Jason David Frank. And Walter Jones hasn't said anything at all either. So if we're saying that we're only getting 2 out of those 5, I would say that whatever that. I mean, I'd still like to see them come back, but I just don't know if Hasbro is willing to fork out the money. You know what I mean? Just to revolve it around those 2 Rangers. That's just my opinion.
That is true. And
then again, who knows? Maybe they're playing all of us and they're all coming back, which would be fantastic, right?
Maybe it's already shot. It's already done. Everybody's back. It's already done. They're doing the whole Andrew Garfield thing. And we just got to wait.
Well, let me ask you guys, what are the chances, what percentage do you think that the 30th anniversary is actually going to happen?
Pretty low. Like after that ASJ thing, pretty low, to be honest.
I feel like if anything, if it's still gonna happen, it's not gonna be the original idea as we thought. Yeah. So I'm gonna be a 50.
I'll go 50 as well.
We'll go 49.
Oh,
there we go.
49, 51.
49%.
49%.
But regardless, are you guys more? I mean, look, because I know prior to this Austin St. John thing, we were running on a high as Power Ranger fans, knowing that there was this talk of this 30th anniversary thing. But are you now more excited about Cosmic Fury, Jonathan Entwistle's universe, this possible 30th anniversary? I feel like as Power Ranger fans, there's 3 potential projects that are rumored, none of which officially have been announced by Power Rangers themselves, but 3 projects nonetheless. Which one excites you the most, though? Because I will say Cosmic Fury, if it is what I think it could be in my head, I'm all on board with that. Like, I think
I'm on board.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm on board with 100%.
If it's continuity, if there's continuity between that and Dino Fury. If it's a whole new thing and they try to do it like super quickly for the 30th season and it might fall flat. Like I think that the changing the team time from season to season worked back then, but like we're in an age where people are like binging and streaming stuff where they grow and like fall in love with these characters, and then just to keep changing them left and right, it doesn't work. The formula doesn't work.
Interesting.
I agree.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap this up. I do have one last question before we do. is that we now know that this Austin St. John, as he said, that all of them are reached out for this 30th anniversary thing. If it doesn't happen, if the 30th anniversary, if nothing comes out of this at all, what do you think Power Rangers can do to kind of supplement not having a 30th anniversary special?
Ooh.
Have a really good season.
Yeah.
So put
Make
all
more
the eggs in the
toys.
cosmic. So that, well, no, that's a good question,
Just
Esther. Because
tons of toys.
would you put all your eggs in the Cosmic Fury basket, or would you kind of like reserve that for whatever Entwistle's doing? And then Liz making good toys, I would agree, because we, as of now, and Chris said this last week, is that currently right now there are no new toys planned outside of the Mighty Morphin stuff that's going on. So, I mean, that's a pretty good indicator that they were planning something for the 30th anniversary. But
You're talking about even Lightning Collection? Like they're not continuing?
I mean, I
on?
think Lightning Collection was going to continue on, but like outside of like, another kind of like Dino Fury line or whatever it may be like that, there was nothing
No.
planned besides the 30th anniversary thing. But make good toys, put your eggs in the Cosmic Fury basket. Jesser, what says you?
Power Rangers Go animated series, where it's like big Power Ranger heads and then wonky, slapstick
No,
comedy. I don't
you
know.
wouldn't really want that, right? Or do you really want that?
No. I mean, I would. An animated show would be cool, and I mean, I've seen some freaking YouTubers make animated stuff really quickly. So, if they had a year and a half, I think I'm pretty sure they can, pump something out.
So animated, it would be a good supplement for you for a actually, that's
Yeah.
not a terrible idea even for a 30th anniversary special. Is it done in animation, which I think is a fantastic idea, Jesser. Heirloom, what says you? What would you go with to supplement a 30th anniversary non-reunion?
I would just probably say like Cosmic Fury, but I think the way that I would stage it would be do it for the entire year rather than chunk now later. So I'd follow the Sentai formula a bit and be like start from January, end in December, or carry on to the next year and just have it like once a week and actually put more time and effort and love into the production rather than go, it's on Netflix, go binge it. So
I feel like that would be so hard to do within shooting in the course of a year. Like doing something like that, you wouldn't get it until like 2024 because they would have to take all of 2023 to shoot about. Because you were talking what, 40 to 50 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think the way that I've seen their formula work is that I think when the new one comes along, they have someone else on the next unit. So obviously they have like they shoot all the suit stuff and then they do the next stuff, like all the out of suit stuff. But I feel like if you do it properly and actually take it, even if they change it to, okay, we're going to do 22 episodes, stage it, give something to the fandom that they want something a bit more rather than just here is it all to binge watch. Because as soon as you've done it, like, I've finished Dino Fury within a day. So the next stage is people are just going to jump to the end, see the end of it and go, oh, but if they spoon feed it to us, I think we'd appreciate it a bit more.
Oh yeah, and there's build up, and
That's
then
true.
you get a bunch of like kind of like how Stranger Things did, where they did like the last 2 episodes of the season like later on. Like people are just like speculating the whole time. If you get that kind of like buzz for like Power Rangers, I mean I guess they're doing that with Dino Fury right now, but I guess it's not as
Better a little
Yeah, I
more,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point, Jesser, because the second half of Dino Fury is yet to come, and every indication, everything we've heard about it, it's supposed to be this epic finale that's there's a lot going on about it. And even I was just going over one of my other things with Chance today, and like he did say that the characters grow, and like the last 2 episodes are like the best or his favorites of the series. So who knows? And we know Simon Bennett's directing the last 2 episodes personally. So who knows?
And you think they could do all that in 11 episodes? Like everybody was talking about growth and all these like story arcs that are like being completed. You think that they finished it in 11 episodes?
How many? I mean, that's I mean, 11 episodes is a lot of television. It's a lot of content. I think they can because you got to think right now. I mean, what else did Ollie have? What else does he have to do this season? Like we've seen his character progression. We just need him and Amelia to get together, right? That can be settled up fairly soon. I mean, the Zato stuff, and we know for sure we're going to be going back to RAFCON at some point. So we gotta settle up the Zato stuff, and as well as what's the Gold Ranger's name?
Ion.
Ion. We got to get stuff resolved from him too, right? Void Knight, Void Queen, we need that taken care of. We got to figure out what's going on with Lord Zed. We know that Mick is at some point going to return, but also like. Where else do we see Javi going? Like, what's the next evolution of that character? I feel like everybody loves Izzy. So like we're going to see where that character goes too. But for the most part, what's left to really wrap up, right? Because I feel like They can wrap up everything with
Morphin Masters.
Morphin Masters.
Yeah.
Morphin Masters, yeah. And will that finale? That's one thing that I hope that they are able to do on Netflix is kind of like old school Power Ranger storytelling. Do you guys remember Power Rangers Turbo? They strapped themselves into that Nasada space shuttle with little Alpha 5, and Justin couldn't go with them. They blast off into space, and it was like to be continued. Power Rangers in space, whatever it is. If it's the same thing, Cosmic Fury, I will be, this is, you know what I mean?
That would be so cool.
That'd be crazy.
That would be cool.
Because at that point, imagine us as fans. If that's the end of this season, and we know that the 30th anniversary or 30th year is next year, and that's when we're going to get a new season, our imaginations are going to run wild with cameos that can appear, especially if they're going to space. You know what I mean? So
that spaceship comes out of the ground, and then they had like, we have to go to AFCON. Something crazy.
And ironically, I actually think it'd be interesting because if the fans get that hyped about the continued universe from the last 30 years of Power Rangers, and they're like, wait a minute, we don't really want this Entwistle thing, that's going to cause like a whole nother thing. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very curious because if you guys have noticed the trend, these one and done creators in Power Rangers have somehow come in a season and changed the game. It happened in SPD with Greg Aronowitz. It happened with Eddie Gazillion in SPD. You know what I mean? These creators just come in and be like, all right, do what you want to do with it. Let's just see what happens. And they end up being, it's same thing with Power Rangers in Space. That was going to be the last season too. They end up just, being these phenomenal seasons. And if we're going to end it like with Cosmic Fury on a high note like that, it's like, well, why do we want a new universe when this is going so well? So
we'll take it still.
We'll take it. Yeah, I'll take as much as we can get in different. Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is going to do it for us, guys. Erlen, where can everybody find you? And when's your new video dropping?
You can all find me on everywhere bar Twitter as Erlen, and then on Twitter as Mainstream Live. And there's probably a new video dropping. I have no idea what it is because I shot them like 2-3 months ago when all the news was out. Maybe new merch. I have no idea.
Este, what's the latest on you? Where can everybody find you on social media?
Find me on YouTube as Este, Twitter, Dino Fuego, Instagram, Naton Fuego, and my next video, I'm talking about the Dynaman parody dub.
Yeah, Liz, you deliver the greatest news of all Power Ranger content creators out there. What can people expect from you and your channel? Where can everybody find you?
You can find me everywhere as Ranger Liz. Pretty easy to find. And this week, probably like Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to drop. I just did an interview with Melissa Flores, who is the writer of a new comic book called The Dead Lucky. And it's going to be coming out in August. So we chatted about the new book and stuff for a little bit. And that interview should be up early next week.
Amazing.
Hey.
Jezzer, where can everybody find you, buddy?
I'm currently right now trying to get us to 1K on the Illumineri's TikTok. So my face is all over doing all the stupid trends, trying to figure out this algorithm. So yeah, you can find me there or on all social media at Jezzer Zeus.
And you can find me right here at the Illuminerdi, at Joe Illuminerdi on social media. I should probably start getting back on that. But I will deliver more Power Ranger news, more Marvel news. By the way, we're going to be doing a podcast on Thor, which is a lot of fun. I hope you guys go out and see it.
Oh my God.
It's a fun movie. And then everybody knows that I have not been the biggest fan of Marvel Phase 4. So, I think this was a good palate cleanser for me.
Hence all the Marvel work got going on right now, huh?
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Right.
literally, I woke up in this shirt and I just decided to wear this hat. But it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Marvel Phase 4 though has been a little bit of a letdown for me, and maybe that's my own personal Marvel fatigue. I will say it might be kicking in a little bit, but try to get re-energized. But that's going to do it for us here at the Illuminerdi. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Ranger Nation discussion. Next week we'll be back with another one talking about the latest in Power Rangers. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending in geek
Pop culture.
Later, guys.